At a time when more than 5,000 craft beer companies are all fighting for mindshare, it's never been more important for entrepreneurs to understand where they're going and how they're going to get there. Each year, Craft Brew Alliance, together with Brewbound, selects 2 upstart breweries and sends them to Portland, Oregon, where they spend 2 days learning from one another, brewing together, and exploring one of the most prolific beer cities in the United States. These are their stories. This is the learning curve.
If we can make good beer, then we can do the rest of it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like we've taken the baseline of like, well, we're going to assume we have good beer, and it seems like people like it. So that part's working. We're trying to create something that's very open, very bright, welcoming. We find that beer can be really uniting in that way, and we try to make everything as inviting and open as we can. So we're definitely using modern technique, but everything about Hopewell is modern. Everything we're trying to do is modern and new and bright and clean. So it really fit exactly what we were trying to express. Hi, I'm Stephen Basu. I'm the founder and brewmaster of the Hopewell Brewing Company.
So I drive the delivery van still. We're still small enough that the owners are delivering kegs by hand. Even if they've ordered through our sales rep, Jake, then they still see me. They see an owner of the company. And that's something that we want to kind of preserve as long as we can. I'm Jonathan Fritz. I'm a founder at Hopewell Brewing Company.
So in 3 to 5 words, Hopewell Brewing is bright, clean, and modern, and also welcoming. There's a generation of consumers, craft beer drinkers, but also just people generally who are looking for their company that they support to live values, and we really dug into that. I'm Samantha Lee, and I'm one of the founders of Hopewell Brewing Company.
Everything is a very deliberate choice. We don't take ourselves too seriously, but every decision that we make, we put thought into. Whether it be the beer that we brew, obviously, or even things like event coordination or execution, the names of the beers. I'm Jake. I'm the brand rep for Hopewell Brewing in Chicago.
Chicago is definitely a craft beer town, and people live and love Chicago craft beer. And we sometimes get stuck in that bubble too. So I think being with the folks at CBA will just give us a much broader lens of the industry at large. And
I think there's a lot of things that we can learn out in Portland. What I'm especially interested in is their warehousing. It's directly relevant to how we're doing our warehousing, running a distributor out of our back. I'm interested in how they approach relationships with distributors, because we're not going to be self-distro forever. So learning everything I can about how to manage a distributor relationship is going to help us when we grow into another city, when we grow into another country.
We've got a couple of good ideas that we're working on to get this collab together. So kind of finalizing that recipe and seeing how it actually turns out is going to be fun.
Local is not so much the thing that they're wanting to talk about with their brand, not that they're from Chicago or Logan Square or this sense of place is less important to them, but instead the sense of community and that they're around like-minded people. I think that was pretty cool, and it really stuck with me. And it speaks to the way that the industry and consumers on whole are sort of shifting their thinking. I'm Carmen Olson. I am the Senior Manager of Emerging Business for Craft Brew Alliance in Portland, Oregon.
Again, our philosophy is not to just renew contracts with legacy vendors simply because we have the history. I know that's the convenient thing to do because we've established the history and all that, but I feel like you contract in phases, maybe 2 to 3 years. In 3 years, your business has changed, their business has changed. You may not be right for each other anymore.
First of all, we're self-distributing. In Illinois, we're producing draft only at our facility, and we're only like 6 months old, so we're like very new.
It's good to ask these questions at the beginning.
The stuff that's going on in Widmer, I never really think about on a day-to-day basis for a small brewery. Procurement, these massive distribution networks, kind of learning that sort of stuff, and then kind of giving me a bigger picture of where Hopewell might be someday. So for the beer de miel, when's the honey? How are we going to do that?
And we'll be mashing in with Sam, Samantha, Steven, and Jake and Jonathan. We'll let you do all the heavy lifting. And because we're getting back malt, we literally are just adding it into the mash tun at that point.
That's the collaborative part,
Yeah.
right?
I think I'm ready for the ride.
All right, cool. We made beer.
Made beer.
You know, people out here are not afraid to express themselves. You know, big IPAs, subtle IPAs, big saisons, subtle saisons, sours, tarts, barrel-aged, fodder, you know, everything. Everything is happening all over the place. So, you know, sometimes you think of like one brewery as the barrel brewery or one brewery as the IPA brewery, and it's, you know, out here everyone's doing everything and executing it. If Hopewell could take every beer we wanted to do and execute it the way the breweries out in Portland are doing, you know, that would be a home run. That would be a big success.
It is good to step back, and this week has been a good opportunity to step back and kind of look at the 30,000 foot view of like, what are our plans for growth and how are we going to get there and how are we going to make sure we're ready, because it is easy to get caught up into the day-to-day stuff that needs to get done.